By the 90s, the future of two-stroke motorcycles were on life support, thanks to the new emission laws being implemented all around the world. Enthusiasts were already mourning about the impending demise of their favorite smokers. But Bimota came up with an announcement that seemed to bring a ray of hope into the atmosphere of despair. That they will resurrect the two-stroke engines. They are going to give it a new life. This project was not only intended to give a new lease of life to the two-stroke engines, but also it was supposed to give a new identity to Bimota. Since Bimota's inception in 1973, it has been their dream to become a fully independent motorcycle manufacturer. An in-house developed engine was the final hurdle to that dream. Because up until that point, Bimota was known as a boutique motorcycle manufacturer, known for their high quality and high performance motorcycle chassis. But unfortunately, this very dream of theirs led to their untimely demise. Let's see how that happened. When the news broke that Bimota was reviving the two-stroke engines, the world looked on with surprise. Even though a lot of people praised Bimota's courage to undertake such a daring task, there was a small minority of people who were doubtful about Bimota's ability to pull off such a huge mission. But Bimota went ahead with the plan anyways. Hence the news was much hyped and motorcycle enthusiasts were at the peak of excitement. But like all other overhyped news, everyone knew that there would be some minor mishaps that were inevitable with this project. But what no one really expected was the magnitude at which the screw-ups are about to happen, and boy, it was colossal. In 1997, Bimota introduced the V-Due at Milan Motorcycle Show. The name simply meant V-Twin. The V-Due was a thing of beauty. It was a visually striking motorcycle with sleek and modern design. It features a twin-spar aluminum frame and an asymmetrical swing arm, which was held in place by billet pivot plates which were TIG-welded to the frame. The V-Due also features top-of-the-line components such as a pair of fully adjustable 46mm Paoli forks with 4.7-inch travel at the front and a fully adjustable O'Halloran shocks with 5.1-inch travel at the rear. The braking components were provided by Brembo. The twin 320mm discs at front were gripped by a set of Brembo 4-piston calipers, and at the rear there was a single disc with Brembo 2-piston caliper. But the main thing that people were most excited about was the engine, the one thing that was supposed to give Bimota a new identity and a new lease of life for the two-stroke engines. With this new 499cc V-twin, Bimota promised to solve the biggest problem of the two-stroke engines, the emission. Unlike four-stroke engines, two-strokes don't have valves, instead they have ports, and they get closed and opened as the piston moves up and down in the cylinder. When the piston goes up in the cylinder, the intake port opens, drawing fresh air-fuel mixture into the crankcase from the carburetor. This mixture is then transferred into the combustion chamber via a transfer port when the piston moves down in the cylinder. But as the piston goes down, it also uncovers the exhaust port. This causes some of the unburned fuel vapor to find its way into the exhaust port and into the atmosphere. To make matters even worse, the vacuum of the cylinder pulls in mixture from the carburetor even when the throttle is closed. Due to this very nature, it is impossible to optimize the combustion process through mechanical means alone. Bimota's solution to this problem was electronic fuel injection. With the help of a properly calibrated electronic fuel injection, a precise amount of fuel necessary can be delivered into the cylinder at the exact optimal instant, and the electronic ignition will optimize the combustion event. As the air-fuel mixture does not enter into the crankcase as it used to, Bimota used a forced lubrication system to lubricate the components inside the crankcase. On paper, the V-Due was fantastic. A motorcycle weighing 145 kilograms powered by a 499cc V-twin making 120 brake horsepower and was supposed to ride like a dream with its electronic fuel injection. What's there not to love? Well, apparently everything about the engine was just downright bad. To begin with, the throttle response was terrible. The engine hunted badly at steady speeds, and the power delivery was extremely violent and only came on at the top of the rev range. With a power band of little more than 1500 rpm, the gearbox ratios weren't close enough to allow the engine to be kept in its thin power band. The engine also had a tendency to overheat and misfire quite often, leading to consistently damaging the spark plugs on a regular basis. According to Bimota historian and collector Mr. Bob Steinbugler, the main culprit of this issue was the fuel injectors. During its development, Bimota utilized Weber fuel injectors sourced from Ferrari, which then swapped for a production-available Siemens injectors, and the engineers just couldn't able to optimize it. To make matters even worse, the crankshaft seals were weak and leaked due to the flaws in crankcase casting. To add insult to the injury, Bimota priced the V-Due at $20,000 during the time of its launch. Within the first few months, the motorcycle was plagued with issues ranging from wonky throttle response to piston and crank seizures. Bimota was forced to recall all the units produced, which were around 150 out of the 500 planned. This whole mess was proven to be an enormous threat to Bimota's own existence, as this tiny company had banked its entire future and all of its cash reserves on the V-Due project. In a desperate attempt, Bimota tried to revert the V-Due to carburetors, but the damage was already done. Customers just wanted their cash back. The loss of income forced the boutique motorcycle manufacturer into filing for bankruptcy. After the bankruptcy, the entire V-Due division of the business was sold off to an entrepreneur named Piero Caroni. Under the new management, the V-Due received a few changes like redesigned crankcase, a set of new carburetors and ECUs in an attempt to make a small batch of motorcycles that you can actually ride. And they did manage to make and sell a few units. And those motorcycles were known as V-Due Evolution.